Jack Radcliffe's niece called him and told him that her father hadn't picked her up and that she couldn't reach him or her mother. Jack picked up Ashley and took her to get something to eat. She was very sad about her parents' negligence, especially her father's. Jack thinks his brother isn't that bad. The next day at work, Ashley called him again and thanked him for talking to her parents. They gave her the bicycle she wanted. She knows her parents don't care much about her, but she feels happy to have someone around. Jack was swamped with work, so he said he would call later. He received another call from Ashley, but because of noise, he couldn't understand anything, only noticing that she was very scared. The call was cut off after a minute. Jack tried calling back, but it went to voicemail. He became worried and decided to go to his brother's house. Upon entering, he saw a scene of horror and all his relatives murdered, including his brother Garrett and Ashley. It appears that Ashley's father killed his family and then killed himself. Even being an experienced police officer, Jack couldn't control his emotions. It was the most horrible thing he had ever witnessed. Soon after, help arrived. Jack's friend, Bobby Owens, sympathized with him, but Jack was in shock, not responding to anything. Hey, the movie I'm going to summarize is called Don't Let Go. It's a horror film mixed with science fiction and suspense. It's a very good movie that keeps you hooked from beginning to end, trying to understand what happened. But I warn you, pay close attention or you'll finish the video without understanding. That's why I invite you to subscribe to the channel, leave a like, and activate the bell to receive the best summaries. The funerals took place, and Jack blamed himself for not saving his family members. Now he prays to God for a new opportunity. Bobby Owens tries to console him, saying that the most important thing is to find a way to live with it. Jack watches family videos, loves his niece, and treated her like a daughter, but now she's gone, just like Garrett. To ease the pain, Jack drinks too much. Jack is stunned to see Ashley's number on his phone, but can't answer in time. He tries to call back, but there's no signal. Jack cries in desperation. Later, he goes to the police station and questions Bobby about Ashley's phone, which should be in custody as evidence, but it seems someone lost it. When he arrives at his brother's house, Jack finds the phone in the bathroom where Ashley died. Suddenly, he receives another call from her, and this time he answers, hearing Ashley's voice. Jack is perplexed and asks who's speaking. At that moment, he holds his niece's phone in his hands. Ashley just says there might have been a mistake on the line and hangs up. She says she hopes her uncle is well. Jack is confused. Everything seems like a nightmare. Later, Bobby visits him, bringing food. Bobby is very concerned about his friend, while Jack can't stop thinking about the call. Jack is feeling crazy. Bobby said this is common in these situations, but Bobby isn't just a friend to support Jack. He's also an investigator in Garrett's case. If Jack knows anything, Bobby wants to hear it right away. Sergeant Roger Lee interrogated him. Jack had a difficult relationship with his brother, who was involved in drug trafficking and had been targeted by police several times. Jack is furious with these accusations. That same night, he received another call from Ashley and heard her voice. Jack doesn't know what's happening. When he asked Ashley where she was calling from, the girl said she was in her room now. After that, Ashley repeated what she had said before, including about the bicycle. It seemed like these horrors had never happened. While talking to Ashley, Jack went to their house and asked his niece to get a spray paint can from the storage and make a large red cross on the door. Ashley agreed to do what he asked, even though she found it strange. Then she hung up the phone. Jack laughed madly, aware that he was going crazy. Of course, nothing changed. However, when entering the warehouse, Jack felt he wasn't alone. A few seconds later, a red cross appeared on the door. Jack was terrified and ran outside. Ashley called him again, and he wanted to know what day it was. Ashley said it was June 25th, but actually, today is June 29th. The girl also told him she was scared because her father arrived in an old white car. Jack asked her to look at the car's license plate, but Ashley couldn't see it. Jack examined his brother's house while continuing to talk with Ashley. He asked his niece if she noticed anything strange the day before. Maybe her father had forgotten to take his medication. Ashley had no memory of anything strange. In fact, her parents got along very well. Jack found a sticker with the name Georgie in one of the books, but Ashley had never heard of someone like that. When Jack entered Ashley's room, he noticed that the last day marked on her calendar was June 28th, 3 days before the horrible event. Ashley said her father had returned, and she had to hang up the phone. Jack was confused by the situation. The next day, he started investigating the case. He only had 2 days to prevent the tragedy. His boss, Howard Kellen, called him and wanted to know why he was investigating the case alone. Jack confessed that there were things that bothered him. In the past, Ashley searched her father's car looking for clues. At the same time, the boss informed Jack that someone named Georgie was involved in Garrett's substance case. Witnesses gave their testimony and made a sketch of the man, but he wasn't found. Georgie was like a ghost. Jack ignored Howard's advice to rest and stay home, and continued his own investigation in secret. He met with Bobby and showed him what he had discovered. It seemed that someone had staged a scene in the house. Ashley called Jack and told him she found Georgie's address in her father's notebook. She was with the dog and was going to visit her uncle. Jack told her to leave right away, saying his house was being watched because his brother had gotten into trouble. They had to act normally if they saw each other. Ashley was scared but accepted the idea and passed along the address. Jack ran there. The house was abandoned with a padlock on the door. An old car passed by Jack. He looked at the letters in the mail. One of them was Express. While examining the case materials, Jack found a coincidence. Suddenly, shots came from a passing car. Jack took cover but was shot. Jack got into his car and left, growing weaker because of the wound. Even so, he made it to the police station. Everyone was startled to see the wounded detective, who urgently asked to see the case materials, while colleagues called an ambulance. Jack tried to tell Bobby what was happening. Of course, Bobby thought Jack was hallucinating. It was Tuesday morning, which meant someone would break into Garrett's house at night and kill his entire family. Upon receiving a call from Ashley, Jack ran to the street, fainting. He asked his niece to call the police and warned that her father was in danger. She should also tell them about the box of substances under her father's bed, giving her Bobby's number. Jack passed out and an ambulance arrived. Bobby swore he wouldn't let the culprit escape. Jack had suffered a heart attack some time ago. Ashley went to her uncle and tried to make him understand the situation, but he had no idea what she was talking about. Frustrated, the girl left. Ashley arrived home upset, but her parents were happy. Garrett composed a song for his wife, dreaming of being a famous musician and receiving applause one day. Ashley suspects her father has a secret under the bed. Controlling her emotions, she left the house and noticed the white car nearby. She didn't waste time and called 911, asking for help. Something horrible was going to happen that day. 2 realities merged. Upon entering his brother's house, Jack saw all his family members dead. The past was unchangeable for him. Jack felt confused and didn't understand the situation. He learned that the funeral had already taken place. Jack was acting strangely, asking many questions that left Bobby bewildered. When analyzing the case documents, Jack noticed there were discrepancies. For example, Ashley's backpack was wet for some reason. This time, everything unfolded differently. 2 realities intersected as Jack entered his brother's house. Ashley spotted an old car and followed its owner. Jack was looking for clues in the house and, at one point, saw a sheet with photos of cars. One of them was marked with a red circle. Ashley witnessed some people surrounding her father. She quickly called her uncle and reported what was happening. Jack ordered her to leave immediately and not return home under any circumstances. The call was interrupted because Ashley's phone ran out of battery. She wrote down the license plates of the parked vehicles on a paper. Noticing the old white Porsche, Jack called Bobby and asked for information about the car. The present and past were mixing. Ashley escaped but had a pursuer. Jack was at the location but accompanied. He and someone exchanged gunfire to escape. Ashley lost her backpack in the water but kept running. Jack, injured, bandaged himself. Soon after, Ashley called again. Hidden in a diner where she recharged her phone, Jack told his niece to describe in detail what the people in the cars looked like. Ashley said she had written down the car license plates on a paper, but lost her backpack while fleeing. Jack entered the cafe with his police badge visible. He was injured and could barely stand. He asked his niece to do something bizarre. Take a piece of gum from the jar and stick it under the table. In the present, the gum was still there. Jack didn't know how to explain this. He told his niece they were separated by 2 weeks in time. Ashley thought he was crazy. To test it, she stuck another piece of gum of a different color under the table and asked her uncle what color it was. He got it right, and she was convinced. Jack revealed that if they didn't change the past together, she and her family would die today. That's why she had to run away as fast as possible. It was the only way to protect herself. Sobbing, Ashley agreed. She went to the bus station and waited for the bus. In the present, Jack found Ashley's backpack among the evidence, but the napkin she had written on was blank. Jack was injured but told his friends he didn't need medical attention. He told Howard and Bobby that Ashley's backpack wasn't with her that day, so it was placed in her house afterwards by someone. Bobby also discovered that the white car belonged to Sergeant Roger Lee, which left Jack stunned. Roger Lee was the one who questioned him 2 days ago. In the past, Ashley was waiting for the bus, but couldn't talk to her parents. She decided to leave without taking the bus. In the present, the detectives gathered in the parking lot. Howard and Bobby told Jack that Georgie was actually a group of corrupt police officers. Following the instructions from Internal Affairs, Howard and Bobby stayed quiet, but they planned to reveal the plot that exists in the department. It's obvious that Georgie's sketch is fake and serves to hide the truth. From what Jack discovered, Roger Lee is second in command in this organization. They have to inform the chiefs as soon as possible. Not knowing who to trust, Ashley called Bobby, who went to pick her up. Ashley believes that Bobby, Jack's great friend and partner, will protect her. At the same time, Jack doesn't understand his brother's role in all this. Howard told him that Garrett had returned to his old vices and allied himself with one of Georgie's accomplices. Jack realizes something is wrong. Howard and Bobby lead him to an unknown place. Jack prepares his gun without them seeing. Finally, the journey ends. Everyone gets out of the car. Howard tells Bobby to send a message to someone called IES. Without warning, Bobby fired, killing Howard and ordering Jack to drop his weapon. Earlier, Bobby had promised Ashley he would talk to her parents and fix everything. The parents left the house to pick up their daughter when Bobby took Ashley's wet backpack and a gun from the trunk. It was evident that he was part of Georgie's crew. Garrett begged him to leave them alone, but Bobby ordered everyone into the house. Now Bobby wants Jack to tell him how he knew about the backpack. Bobby is convinced that Jack has a contact in the past and wants Ashley to say how she discovered the box under her father's bed. Jack confessed that his contact is Ashley, but Bobby didn't believe it, since Ashley is no longer alive. Garrett tried to persuade Bobby to drop the gun and talk calmly. Garrett had the opportunity to escape with his family, but didn't use it, even with Bobby's warnings. Then, Bobby killed Garrett in front of Susan, who tried to prevent the crime. Ashley ran away and locked herself in her room. Bobby banged on the door and broke the glass. Ashley escaped, but Bobby didn't give up chasing her. In the end, Ashley took refuge in a storage room. Bobby found her soon. Ashley had no way out. Bobby demanded Jack reveal who the informant was, and that's when Ashley called Jack. Jack put the phone on speaker so Bobby could hear the conversation. Jack told his niece that if she got away, he would too. That's when Bobby shot him. Ashley saw Bobby leave and tried to escape, but Bobby went after her again. Ashley reached Jack's house, who saw Bobby armed. Jack shot first, making the alternative world disappear. Jack hugged Ashley, who was crying, and thus they saved each other. And that's how the movie ends. I confess that if you don't pay attention to the movie, you'll finish it without understanding what happened. But that's it. Comment what you thought of the movie, leave that like, and activate the bell to be notified of new recaps. So until the next video,